I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
What if I told you that you may have a firearms manufacturer that you love that you don't even know about? That's what we're going to talk about today. One of the unsung great manufacturers, in my opinion, of some really fine firearms. Welcome to Gunfighter Life, where we talk about guns, tactics, ballistics, the right way, with God at the center, Judeo-Christian biblical values, real-world, first-hand experience, police, military, competition shooting, hunting, bio link in the show notes. Also, real quick, housekeeping, this is a mobile episode. Guys, this is the only weekday this week that I am not working both jobs. Just doing the podcast, and just stuff is going to suffer because of that, and audio quality is one of those things. You could get mobile content or you could get no content. So coming at you from the mobile, hope you can forgive the foibles of the audio quality for the good character of the content. Please consider signing up on Patreon, because if you guys don't know, I'm a private security contractor. When shift bids come up, it's possible I could bid on less shifts if the podcast is doing better. That may be an influencing factor there. So anyway, consider going to Patreon and becoming a patron. Patrons get a lot of insider-only content. With that, what is this manufacturer of awesome guns that you may have and not even know about? Umarex. Umarex, I believe, is how you pronounce it. And it is going to be Uniform, Mike, Alpha, Romeo, Echo, X-Ray, Umarex. And the reason you may have these and love these and not know about these is because they make 22s for a lot of really cool manufacturers. There's a German manufacturer and a Umarex USA. I'm not sure what guns are made where, but either one, Germany or America, is decent, right? It's not like they're made in Turkey or something. But good manufacturer. They make a lot of 22, let's say, clones of their big brothers. I know about these because I've been around them a long time. One of my favorite guns that I shot so much I cracked the frame in it, and that's no hit against Umarex. If you had seen the number of rounds and abuse that gun had taken, you would be impressed that it lasted that long. I don't know how many rounds I put through that gun. But it was a Smith & Wesson M&P 22 full size, which they don't make anymore. They used to be made by Umarex. I believe now they are made by the smaller ones. Now they only make the compact, and they're made by Smith & Wesson themselves. But Umarex made that one, and I loved that gun. I trained and shot that gun so much that it is just ridiculous. And that was a big part that I was blessed to turn money into skill with that gun and get really good, competition shooting practice with that gun. A fantastic gun. They make a lot of really good 22s, and I don't consider this to be like Springfield, where they take some Croatian abomination and stamp Springfield on it with some military-looking stamp, and you think it's a good American-made gun. They're doing this because you can get a 22 trainer analogous to the actual big brother. Right? You could get a full-size Smith & Wesson M&P that was form and function much like a Smith & Wesson M&P. And I believe, double check this for yourself, but some other ones that are made are the Umarex MP5, H&K MP5. They make a 22 clone of that. The Uzi, how cool is that? 22 clone of that. Walther 22s. You may look and see if they're actually made by Walther or Umarex, or they have been in the past. The HK 416. How cool is that? One of the preeminent battlefield rifles on the planet today. They make a 22 trainer for it, and I've looked at those, and I kind of want one. I've kind of thought about getting one. Just really cool that you can get a HK 416 in 22 and the FN 502. I believe. Double check all of these. I believe from research, because I don't have all of these in front of me. I believe the FN 502, which is kind of a copy of their FN X45 Tactical or FNX whatever, FN 509. It's a 22 version of that, and I believe made by Umarex, and that's a great gun. What maybe got me thinking about doing this episode is that recently blessed to take my neighbor's daughter out to get her first couple of firearms. Her parents are really supportive of her shooting. They're not hardcore into shooting, but she's my neighbor, and she's like 13 years old, out in the middle of nowhere in the country. Probably not the most fun for a 13-year-old girl. And I let her know, hey, if you hear me outside shooting, come outside and shoot. And she has a lot. And I recently took her to her first shooting competition, and her dad set aside some money for her to get her first firearms. She got a rifle and a handgun, and the handgun she got was an FN 502. And I have been very impressed with that. She shot a competition with it. It ran great. I think she had one malfunction, which who knows what that could have been. It could have been ammo, could have been anything, but that's pretty good to make it through an entire competition, I think, with one malfunction. It's a good gun. It's got a good trigger. I've shot it a little bit. It runs really good. I think we shot a bunch of different ammo through it. It runs great. It's a great shooting gun. And, I've had very good experience with Umarex 22 trainers. So, that being said, they kind of have the formula figured out for 22s. A lot of them have a fixed barrel reciprocating slide. Even if they look like a striker fire, a lot of them are hammer fired internal, like an internal hidden hammer, which is great. I think hammer fired is a superior system to striker fired anyway. So I like that. They're good guns, good trainers, fantastic. Again, they kind of got that figured out. Some of them may have the recoil spring around the barrel. Some of them may have it under the barrel, depending on the design. But if you're looking for a 22 trainer, and they're not the only game in town, but they make some really good ones. And I think because they make so many similar 22s and they just change the outside aesthetics, you can train with your gun, right? If you're an FN guy, maybe get the FN 502. If you're a whatever guy, get that, the Walther or whatever. But I think they're kind of an unsung great American firearms manufacturer, or German imported manufacturer, depending on where it's made, and I'm not sure where they make the 22s. I think a lot of them are probably made in Germany, just because I've seen a proof mark on there, and like a proof house, that's a European thing. But I don't know that for sure. Do your own research on that. But they make good 22s, and they kind of have that formula figured out of how to make a good 22. And it's kind of like the small block Chevy. Just it's got a really good engine. You might change the aesthetics. You might drop it in different chassis, but the engine is proven. I think the design that they use, by and large, for their 22s is proven. It's a good, proven design. Now, I think they make just Umarex air guns that are just under their name. It would be cool if they made just Umarex 22s, but I don't know that they will, again, because a lot of times you're getting them as a trainer. So they couldn't get one and like have an HK. I don't know if they could get an HK 416 clone without doing it in collaboration with HK, because HK might have a problem with that. I assume they get them, make them, and then stamp them HK, and then they both have a partnership in that deal, which works out for everybody. But it's really cool that they make a lot of really cool training clones of those guns. What do you guys think? Do you have experience with Umarex? Do you love them? Have you had a really bad experience with them? I'd like to hear that too. Let me know what you think about Umarex. Kind of flying under the radar. The stealth bomber of the 22 world. With that, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for being part of the podcast. I'll close out with a tactical verse of the day. Blessed be the Lord my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle.
I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.